Boy, Nancy, do we have a story to tell?
Yes, James, we are here with Orange Rose Services, and we are excited about a new podcast that we're launching. And it is Finding Our Voice in the Midst of Chaos, and we are stepping outside of our comfort zone because we are going to be videotaping this. And so, why are we so passionate about finding our voice in the midst of chaos? Because we believe very clearly that there are people that have great stories for themselves and for others. Their stories need to be heard. They may not have a platform to share their stories, and so we want to be that platform that they can share their stories. Because James and I ourselves have been through tremendous amount of trauma, tremendous amount of fighting for our voice, and being able to give that platform for others. We have found that it is very freeing when we're able to share what we've gone through. Sometimes that can also just be healing, but it is also very inspiring for someone who may be going through the very same thing, to understand that there is hope during your midst of chaos.
Yeah, and I had the privilege to interview our first guest, Leann. And again, it's one thing when we tell our stories, it's another thing when we're able to hear other stories and how, exactly what Nancy said, there's an inspiration that happens within us. And it's like, wow, I've been there, or I get you, or that's just really resonates. There's so much about listening and learning that can happen from listening to other stories. So we want to share this in the next few podcasts, our journey of listening to people over the last years, and I hope that you can be blessed as we have been.
Yes, and speaking of Leann, her story is a story of resilience, of strength that she found within herself that she didn't know she had. And so many times when we are going through the storm, we kick into survival mode. But what we see when we come out of that is a beautiful transformation that we discover a whole new person, as Leann will say, as you'll hear Leann say. She's a whole new woman today than she's ever been. Again, it's not something that she was grateful for. It's not something she asked for. But the greatest inspiration to me was when Leann actually will talk about where she discovered she was a victim. That is huge when we can actually say, when we're trying to say everybody else of the story may have been a victim, but she didn't look at herself as a victim. But it was in that point when she discovered that, I'm a victim as well. I'm going to take back my power. And that is extremely inspiring. And I hope it's inspiring for all of you. And with that, here's Leann's story.
Today on The Voice, finding your voice in chaos. Believe me, earlier when we were doing takes, there was a lot of chaos. Yes. So hopefully we can find our voice as we go through this podcast. But today we have Leann with us. Leann, first question I have for you is, who are you today?
Well, I am confident, and I have self-esteem that I have not had in years, and I have peace that I don't know that I've ever had in my marriage, actually, to be honest, because there was just so much chaos. I'm vibrant, I think. I think that, I just say how it is. Like, I just have confidence in.
So when you say it how it is, you just blurt off stuff, or what does that?
Well, I tend to, and sometimes I don't feel like that's always the way I should do it. But, because I need to consider other people's feelings too.
Have you, when you say it like it is, were you more of a pleaser in the past?
Yes.
So when I'm hearing you say it like it is, you're able to be who you are in spite of the person sitting in front of you.
Yes.
You can just say it, and it's not like you're rude, because I want to make sure our audience doesn't know that you're rude. You're saying it, you're owning who you are, and you don't
Yes.
have to apologize. And you don't have to please that person next to you. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, continue to tell me more.
Well, I think when I first got my confidence, some of it was when my boss promoted me to become group leader, which was almost 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite.
Mm-hmm.
But that gave me a new sense of who I am. Like I felt like he trusted me to
Mm-hmm.
to do the job.
Mm-hmm.
And that just spiraled into other things. Like it gave me confidence to believe in myself.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, instead of doubting myself. And then 5 years ago, when the chaos really
Let's talk about that.
came out.
Because again, we talk about chaos. You're 5 years later from that real chaos that you hit 5 years ago. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Like right in the beginning, I was in survival mode, so I just didn't process a whole lot.
So survival mode, what's that? Just give me a little bit more window into that.
I was living, but I wasn't living.
Okay.
I was literally just going to work, coming home, doing what needs to be done. I was, cleaning the house, making supper, getting kids to places they needed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't living.
Mm-hmm.
It was just dead. I felt dead on the inside. Like no hope. Like just, is it always going to be this way? That's how it felt.
And you're married, had 3 children, beautiful children. What ages were they at that time?
Tisha was 16, I believe. Josiah was 12, and Bryce was 10. And Bryce took a lot of my time and patience, and which I understand all kids do, but
Mm-hmm.
it was extra with him.
Mm-hmm.
He got in trouble in school a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't do well in school. And I felt like that was always, his attention was always on him,
Mm-hmm.
and not on the other two, which wasn't fair
Mm-hmm.
to the other two, but that was just how it was.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't figure out how to do it any other way.
Mm-hmm.
I did lose weight in September of 2021 is when I started my weight loss.
Mm-hmm.
And I started running, but I also started doing Optavia,
Mm-hmm.
which is a weight loss program.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up losing 55 pounds.
Wow.
But I did gain a little back, but I found out that when you exercise not only your mind, but your body, your mind and soul as well.
Mm-hmm.
But when one is not well, it's hard to live that way. It's hard to focus. It's hard to navigate through life.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't always happen, but it's harder now this year than it's been ever. But I still run if I have the time. But I do run, and I still try to eat healthy as much as I can, because I don't want to go back to that.
Go back to, what
To
is that?
The old the old Leann, the one that was, carrying the extra pounds, the extra burdens, the extra baggage. And I just feel like if I go back to that, then I lose who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to lose that. I don't want to lose the old me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
when you talk about baggage, what is some of that? You talked about, of course, weight is being baggage, but there was a lot more baggage.
baggage from feeling like family might not always be there to, support me or help me.
Now, are you talking extended family or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like my mom and dad or
Mm-hmm.
siblings.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, my husband wasn't allowed to live with us, so that just carried an extra burden or baggage, or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Made it very difficult for me to live.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was just, I don't know, a lot of turned into chaos
Mm-hmm.
at times.
Leann, we talk a lot here about finding a voice in chaos. Talk a little bit about the injustice that you experienced before you got to this point.
Well, not only did I feel the injustice, but my two boys also did, and Letitia, because she's ultimately the victim.
She's the oldest.
Yeah,
Okay.
the oldest, and the victim in this chaos. And then Bryce, that was all in 2020. And then
Now, Bryce is the middle child?
he's the youngest.
Youngest, okay.
That started in 2020 of my husband not being home and the injustice really coming to light. And then during that time, it was pure survival mode, just living. But then,
Now, you were a single mother at that time. Your husband wasn't home?
right.
Okay, just.
Right. And then Bryce, it was so uncontrollable.
Mm-hmm. His behavior was.
Yes, I could not. School, he was doing horrible. It was at home. His behavior was. It was just.
And was
too
it
much.
Was it like rebellion? Was it anger?
Not. I mean, he's always had behavioral issues.
Sort of like hyperactivity.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was either me losing it or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a few people help me, and he went to a boys' school out in Missouri, actually,
Mm-hmm.
for 18 months.
Okay.
And
That
he came.
had been tough.
It wasn't easy, but it was that or me.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
You know,
Well, you made a decision best for both of you. In a
yeah,
real,
even though he didn't like it. He did not like it at all. But I told him, this is not your fault. You're not,
Yeah.
It's not to punish you. This is to help you become the person that God created you to
Beautiful.
be. Not to go down the wrong path. Because if we continue this, you will not go down the right path.
Mm-hmm.
And so he left November of 22 and came home May of 24. And there's still times when there's, his behavior
Mm-hmm.
is...
He's not perfect.
No, but
He's a teenager now.
it's a lot better.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It really is. We can actually talk things through.
Beautiful.
And he doesn't throw the tantrum fits like he used to. It's manageable. And he's kind of the class clown. He likes to
Awesome.
be the center of attention. So last year I did get quite a few calls from principal, but I'm like, it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Some of us need more attention than others. And I mean that positively. I was the class clown, in my school. That's not, what I would say bad behavior. It's just we need a little more attention, especially how he has grown from where he took that time, and he definitely has found a way to manage his behavior.
Yeah, he really has come.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
From when he was 10. I mean, obviously he's 15 now, but he's definitely grown. And he likes to go to youth at Crystal Valley Church, and he asks every week to go. So I really do like that he enjoys going there.
And so you would say, out of your growth in confidence, you would also say that he's grown in confidence too.
Yes.
And has a really acceptance of who beginning acceptance of who he is.
I would say beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely a beginning. Josiah has a harder time to process it, I think. About a year ago, I had wanted him to go see a counselor, but he flat out refused. And I had already scheduled it, and I'm like, you're going? And he's like, nope, you're going to have to drag me out to the car because I'm not going. And I said, well, I think you are going because I think this is what you need. And it was not chaos. There was some chaos.
But you didn't force him.
Nope, because at that moment he was like, I'm not going. Like, you're wasting your money, and I'm not saying anything. So I realized that it's not going to be worth it to force him to do something that is potentially could just make him worse or make him more bitter towards me. So I left it. He claimed he could, talk to his friends, but yes, it's true, but I also wanted him to have a little professional help, but
sometimes when we're teenagers, we really don't know what's best for us until we have to go a little farther down that path until we wait a minute, I might need help. So, but as a mother, you've recognized where to give him that space and allow him to grow into who he is.
Yeah, and that's what I thought. I just I cannot force him to do this because it's not going to turn out well if I do. And Letitia has been seeing a counselor for close to 3 years already, so she fought me a little bit in the beginning, but I just said there's just no way you will need to go see a counselor because it will benefit you. And she realized it, and she sees now that she's very glad I pushed her to go.
And them going to counselor doesn't mean you're a bad mom, does it?
No, because I myself have been going to a counselor for a good 2 years. So, and now I see a counselor every other month, and I think that everyone actually should see a counselor. There's no shame in seeing a counselor because, I mean, we're not perfect people. We all sin and we all have problems. Some have bigger problems than others. But if you're struggling, a counselor will not carry that to other conversations. It's private, safe. You're in a safe place.
So when I look at a lot of the things you've experienced, what would you feel that was really unjust for you, Leann? What would you say, man? This isn't just. This is way beyond chaos. I mean, it's like this doesn't make sense.
I think that maybe the way my husband thought, maybe,
Okay.
is just, I mean, how, why, why do you think this way, or why?
And what is that type of thing?
Just, well, like the abuse he created on our daughter.
He was abusive.
Yeah,
Okay.
and as a mom, I did not know this was happening until he brought it to light, and and I still didn't look at it as a victim until just a couple of years ago.
Say that word, victim. What does that mean? Yeah.
Well, essentially, we are suffering too. Me and the boys and Letitia, because now the boys don't have a dad in their life. I'm alone. I mean, by choice now, because I filed for divorce, which I can't go back. That's just something I'm not willing to go back.
And it's nothing you even imagine doing, right?
No, it's not. No one, I don't think, goes into a marriage thinking that, hey, in like 17 years, I think I'm just gonna file for divorce. I don't think that anyone does, but yeah, I think the injustice for me is just, again, feeling like I am now the one that has to handle everything again. Bills, working, getting multiple jobs, because I have to, I'm the breadwinner, so now I have to work more because I don't make enough to cover all the bills. So that's injustice for me. Not having the adequate time for myself because of just having to work that much. I feel like, if he hadn't done what he did, then we wouldn't be in this situation, and I wouldn't have to work this much. So just that, and then, and the kids, they don't talk about their dad a lot, whether that is because I don't talk about it a lot, or they don't want to talk about it. Josiah changes the subject. Bryce, sometimes we'll talk about it, but then, Mom, I'm done talking about this. And I don't.
So that was part one of Leann's story, and I hope you were just as inspired and anxiously expecting the next one, which is going to be coming next week with part two. One of the things that we started off with Leann is who we really focus here in Orange Rose Services. We asked her the question, who are you? And as you can see, Leann knew beyond a shadow of a doubt who she is. That comes from tremendous amount of fighting. And it's not fighting with anyone else. It's fighting within yourself. As I just talked about earlier, she discovered power and strength that she wasn't aware that she has. So knowing who you are comes tremendously from a lot of fighting within yourself, not someone else. But there is so much power in knowing beyond a shadow of a doubt. That is who you are, and no one can take that from you. And out of that comes your voice. Because when you know who you are, you know what your purpose is, and you will not be quiet. And so that was one of the great things that we saw from the very beginning, is the confidence, the strength, the resilience, and the fact of knowing who she is, and she's not going to apologize. What was your takeaway, James?
That was definitely huge at the beginning. Like I said, very seldom do we sit across the table and somebody knows who they are. But that came through exactly what Nancy said, tremendous amount of pain and self-discovery. And that's hard work. And it's work that you really don't see, but to come to a place knowing that you are fearfully, wonderfully made, and knowing your purpose, that is huge. So I'm excited as we get into next week to listen to the rest of this journey. It only gets better from here.
It does. And if you are out there and you have a story that you want to be told, go to our website, orangegroveservices.com, fill out the Contact Us form. We would love to hear from you, and we would love to have you on our platform as well.